Jung discovered something that terrifies most people. There are 7 weird traits that society calls abnormal, but Jung knew they revealed a genius-level mind. These are not signs of high IQ or math skills. These are signs of something far more dangerous, the ability to see into the unconscious mind itself. If you have these traits, you might be carrying a psychological superpower that the world has taught you to hide. Let me show you what Jung really discovered about the minds that see what others cannot. Before we dive into the 7 traits, you need to understand what Jung meant by genius. He was not talking about test scores or grades. Jung believed true genius was about differentiated perception. This means your brain can access parts of the unconscious that most people never reach. Your mind processes reality at a deeper level. You see patterns in human behavior that others completely miss. Jung spent decades studying people like this, and what he found changed psychology forever. These individuals were not just smart, they had minds that worked in a completely different way. While other people moved through life on autopilot, these genius minds were awake to layers of reality that remained invisible to everyone else. Jung realized that what society called weird was actually what evolution called advanced. The first trait Jung identified is extreme introversion and the need for solitude. But this is not just about being shy or quiet. Jung discovered something he called participation mystique. People with this trait feel other people's emotions so intensely that it becomes overwhelming. You walk into a room and you absorb everyone's feelings like a sponge. Their anger becomes your anger. Their sadness weighs on you like a heavy blanket. Their anxiety creeps into your chest, even though nothing in your own life is wrong. This is why you need to be alone so often. You are not avoiding people because you are weak. You are protecting yourself from drowning in emotions that do not even belong to you. Jung saw this as a protective mechanism that genius minds develop to survive in a world that does not understand them. Your solitude is not loneliness. It is a sanctuary where you can separate your own feelings from the ocean of emotions you absorb every single day. When you finally get home after being around people, you feel exhausted, not because you did anything physically demanding, but because your mind was working overtime to process everyone's emotional states. Time, 0.6. This is not social anxiety. This is your genius mind being so sensitive to psychological atmospheres that it picks up every subtle shift in the room. This need for alone time connects directly to the second trait, the habit of talking to yourself. Society sees this and thinks you are losing your mind. Your family might worry about you when they hear you having full conversations in your room. Strangers might look at you strangely if they catch you muttering to yourself on a walk. But Jung called this active imagination, and he believed it was one of the clearest signs of genius. When you talk to yourself, you are not going crazy. You are having a dialogue with your unconscious mind. You are working through complex ideas that require conversation. Most people keep their thoughts locked inside, but your brain needs to speak them out loud to process them fully. Jung did this himself during his darkest period, and it saved his life. He would have long conversations with parts of his psyche, asking questions and listening for answers. He would speak to archetypes, to symbols, to aspects of himself that needed to be heard. This is not madness. This is your mind accessing wisdom that lives below the surface of normal consciousness. The genius brain needs this dialogue because it operates on multiple levels at once. You might be working through a problem that has 10 different angles, and speaking out loud helps you organize thoughts that are too complex to hold silently. So the next time someone catches you talking to yourself, remember that Jung would have seen it as a sign of an advanced mind at work. You are not broken. You are processing reality at a depth that requires verbal exploration. The talking to yourself trait naturally leads to the third sign, the black sheep or scapegoat status. If you have a genius-level mind, you probably know what it feels like to be the outsider in every group you join. Your family might treat you like you are the problem. Your workplace might see you as difficult. Your friends might keep you at a distance. Even when you try your hardest to fit in, something about you makes others uncomfortable. Jung discovered why this happens. You are reflecting the group's shadow. This means you hold up a mirror to the parts of themselves that people want to ignore. You see their lies, their hidden motives, their unspoken pain, and just by existing authentically, you force them to confront what they are trying to hide. Groups need shared illusions to function smoothly. Everyone agrees not to mention certain things. Everyone pretends not to notice certain patterns. Families have secrets they never discuss. Workplaces have toxic dynamics they never acknowledge. Friend groups have hierarchies they never name. But your genius mind cannot play along with these unconscious agreements. You see through them automatically. You might not even say anything, but your presence alone disrupts the comfortable lies that hold the group together. This makes you dangerous to the group's comfort. So they label you as the problem, the difficult one, the black sheep. They might say you are too sensitive, too negative, too intense, too much. But Jung knew the truth. You are not the problem. You are the mirror that shows the problem. And people hate mirrors that reflect what they refuse to see. This is why you have probably felt like an outsider your entire life. Not because something is wrong with you, but because your mind refuses to participate in collective denial. Being the scapegoat connects to the fourth trait that Jung identified: hypersensitivity to lies and extraordinary pattern recognition. Empaths aren't broken, they're alchemists in progress. The Alchemist's Path gives you drills, Jung-based boundaries, and 3 exclusive chapter videos to turn overwhelm into clarity. By Surreal Mind, 236-page downloadable ebook, in stock. Begin now at thesurrealmind.com. You can spot a lie the moment it leaves someone's mouth. You do not need evidence or proof. Your brain processes micro-expressions, tone shifts, and energy changes so fast that you just know when someone is being fake. Jung called this intuitive perception, and he saw it as a form of genius that most people do not possess. Your mind is constantly reading patterns in human behavior. You see how someone acts when they are hiding something. You notice the tiny inconsistencies between what people say and what they really mean. You can tell when someone is pretending to be happy. You can sense when a relationship is about to fall apart before anyone else sees the signs. You can feel when someone is lying, even if their story sounds perfectly logical. This trait sounds like a gift, but Jung understood the danger it carries. When you see through everyone's masks, relationships become incredibly difficult. You cannot enjoy small talk because you see the performance behind it. You cannot trust easily because you spot the manipulation before it fully forms. You watch people lie to themselves and each other, and you feel isolated because you are the only one who seems to notice. Someone tells a story at a dinner party, and everyone laughs, but you saw the 3 lies embedded in their narrative. Someone acts like everything is fine, but you can feel their desperation radiating off them like heat. This hypersensitivity to deception is your genius mind protecting you, but it also separates you from people who live comfortably inside their illusions. You cannot unsee what you see, and once you know how much people lie, it becomes exhausting to be around them. This pattern recognition ability flows into the 5th trait: vivid dreaming and unusual night activity. Your genius mind does not shut off when you sleep. Instead, it becomes even more active. Jung discovered that people with differentiated perception have extremely vivid dreams filled with symbols and messages from the unconscious. You might wake up from dreams that feel more real than your waking life. You might have nightmares that seem to predict future events. You might dream entire conversations, complete stories, or symbolic journeys that feel loaded with meaning. You might find yourself doing your most creative thinking at 3 in the morning when the world is quiet. While everyone else is sleeping peacefully, Your mind is awake and processing. Jung believed this happened because your mind has access to what he called the collective unconscious during sleep. This is like a shared library of human experiences and wisdom that most people cannot reach. Your dreams are not random. They are your genius mind processing information, solving problems, and bringing messages from the deepest parts of your psyche. You might dream of people you have never met, but who represent aspects of yourself. You might dream of places that do not exist, but feel completely familiar. You might wake up with solutions to problems you could not solve during the day. If you have intense, memorable, symbolic dreams on a regular basis, Jung would say your mind is operating at a level that most people never experience. Your unconscious is speaking to you constantly, and your genius is in your ability to receive those messages. The dream activity connects to the sixth trait, which might surprise you: androgynous thinking, or the union of opposites. This is not about how you dress or your physical appearance. Jung was talking about psychological androgyny. This means your mind can hold both masculine and feminine energies at the same time. You can be deeply logical and deeply emotional. You can be strong and vulnerable. You can be aggressive and gentle. You can analyze something coldly and then feel it deeply. Jung called this the integration of anima and animus. Most people split these energies and only identify with one side. Men push away their emotional, intuitive, receptive side. Women push away their assertive, logical, decisive side. But the genius mind integrates both. You can access the full range of human psychological experience because you are not trapped in rigid gender roles inside your own head. This makes you more creative, more flexible, and more complete as a person. You can approach a problem with pure logic and then switch to pure intuition. You can be soft when the situation needs softness and firm when it needs strength. You do not have to choose one way of being. But this also makes you confusing to others who expect you to fit into simple categories. People might say you are too emotional for a man or too aggressive for a woman. They might not understand how you can be both rational and mystical, both grounded and imaginative. Jung saw this integration as one of the highest achievements of psychological development. If you can think and feel with both masculine and feminine energy, you have a genius-level mind that operates beyond the limitations most people accept. This integration of opposites leads to the seventh and final trait, a sense of impending doom, or what Jung called the prophet complex. You feel anxious about the future in ways that others do not understand. You sense when something bad is coming. You predict disasters in relationships, careers, or society before they happen. You might tell someone that their relationship will not last, and 6 months later, you are proven right. You might feel uneasy about a job opportunity that everyone else thinks is perfect, and later discover there were major problems. You might sense that something is wrong with someone's health before they get diagnosed. People call you negative or pessimistic, but Jung understood what was really happening. Your genius mind is calculating outcomes based on patterns that others cannot see yet. You're not making things up. Your brain is running simulations based on all the data it collects from observing human behavior. When you feel that sense of impending doom, it is often because your unconscious mind has detected warning signs that your conscious mind has not fully processed yet. This trait can make you feel crazy because you are worried about things that have not happened. People tell you to relax, to stop overthinking, to be more positive, but your mind cannot turn off this pattern recognition. It sees where things are heading based on current trajectories. Jung saw this as the burden of seeing future patterns. Your mind is trying to warn you and protect you by showing you where current paths are leading. The problem is that most people do not want to hear warnings. They want to stay comfortable in the present moment. So your prophecies make you seem paranoid or dramatic, when really you are just seeing further down the road than others can. This is perhaps the loneliest trait, because you watch preventable disasters unfold while no one listens to your warnings. Now that you understand all 7 traits, you need to know about the danger Jung warned about. He called it the inflation trap. This is when you start thinking you are special or superior because you see what others do not. You begin to believe you are above normal humans. You think you are enlightened while everyone else is asleep. This is where genius turns into something dark. Jung saw this pattern in many of his patients. They had real gifts of perception, but they became possessed by their own sense of importance. They started judging everyone around them. They became isolated not just because others rejected them, but because they rejected others as beneath them. They looked at people with contempt instead of compassion. Jung knew this was extremely dangerous, because it is a thin line between genius and psychosis. When you identify completely with your superior perception, you lose your humanity. You forget that everyone is on their own journey. You stop having compassion for people who do not see what you see. The inflation trap is thinking you are a god because you have abilities others do not have. It is the spiritual ego that says, I am more evolved than these people. This destroys the very gift you have been given. The way to avoid this trap is through what Jung called integration. This means accepting these weird traits as part of who you are, but not letting them become your entire identity. You have differentiated perception. That is true, but you are also a human being who needs connection, love, and humility. Integration means using your gifts wisely, without letting them separate you from your own humanity. Jung spent years teaching his patients how to do this. He showed them that their weird traits were not curses and not proof that they were better than others. These traits were simply different ways of experiencing reality. The goal was to honor these abilities while staying grounded in the real world. You can see more than others and still treat them with kindness. You can know when someone is lying and still give them space to be human. You can predict problems and still allow people to make their own choices. Integration is the balance between using your genius and remembering your humility. So what does this all mean for you? If you recognize these 7 traits in yourself, you need to understand something important. Being weird is not the same as being broken. Society teaches you to hide your differences, to pretend you are normal, to apologize for seeing too much. But Jung discovered that these weird traits are actually signs of psychological evolution. Your mind works differently because it is accessing deeper levels of consciousness. You feel like an outsider because you are operating at a frequency that most people have not reached yet. This does not make you better than anyone. It makes you different, and that difference comes with both gifts and challenges. The extreme introversion protects you from emotional overwhelm. The talking to yourself helps you access your unconscious wisdom. The black sheep status shows you are reflecting truths others avoid. The hypersensitivity to lies keeps you safe from manipulation. The vivid dreams connect you to the collective unconscious. The androgynous thinking makes you psychologically complete. The sense of doom helps you see patterns and avoid danger. These are not flaws. These are features of a mind that perceives reality more fully than most, but you have to be careful with these gifts. Do not fall into the inflation trap. Do not start believing you are superior. Do not use your perception to judge and condemn others. The moment you do that, you lose the very wisdom that makes your mind special. Stay humble, stay curious, stay connected to your humanity. Use what you see to help, not to hurt. Jung believed that people like you have an important role in society. You are the ones who see problems before they become disasters. You are the ones who can help others wake up to their own unconscious patterns. You are the bridges between what is and what could be. Your weird traits reveal a genius-level mind, but only if you learn to integrate them consciously. only if you use them with wisdom and compassion, only if you remember that seeing more clearly than others is a responsibility, not just a gift. Jung spent his entire career studying minds like yours because he knew you represented the future of human consciousness. He knew that as more people developed differentiated perception, humanity would evolve beyond its current limitations. You are not broken. You are not too much. You are not too sensitive or too strange. You are exactly what Jung believed consciousness evolution looks like. If you recognize these signs in yourself, understand that you are part of a rare group of people whose minds work at a different level. You might feel alone now, but Jung's research shows that there are others like you scattered throughout the world. You might never meet most of them, but knowing they exist can help you feel less isolated. You are not the only one who sees through masks. You are not the only one who feels too much. You are not the only one who dreams in symbols, or talks to your own mind, or feels like a stranger in every group. There are others who carry this same psychological architecture, and together, without even knowing each other, you are helping consciousness evolve by simply existing as you are. The most important thing Jung wanted you to know is this: your weird traits are not accidents. They are not mistakes in how your brain developed. They are signs of a mind that has access to deeper dimensions of reality. Society will try to normalize you. It will try to make you smaller, quieter, more acceptable. But if you let that happen, you lose the very thing that makes you valuable to the world. Your genius is in your weirdness. Your power is in your difference. Your gift is in seeing what others miss. Do not apologize for it. Do not hide it. Learn to use it wisely, and you become exactly what Jung believed the world needs most. A conscious human being who can help others wake up to their own potential. These 7 weird traits reveal a genius-level mind because they show that your consciousness operates beyond normal limitations. You access the unconscious. You perceive patterns. You feel deeply. You think complexly. You dream vividly. You integrate opposites. You sense the future. These are not small things. These are the abilities that prophets, artists, healers, and visionaries have carried throughout human history. You are in that lineage, whether you realize it or not. The question is not whether you have these traits. The question is what you will do with them, now that you understand what they really mean. Jung knew that minds like yours would struggle in a world that values conformity over authenticity. He knew you would spend years thinking something was wrong with you. He knew you would try to hide your gifts to fit in. But he also knew that eventually you would find your way to understanding. And once you understood that your weirdness was actually genius, everything would change. You would stop apologizing. You would stop shrinking. You would start owning the remarkable mind you were given. This is that moment. This is when you stop seeing yourself through society's eyes and start seeing yourself through Jung's eyes. Through the eyes of someone who understood that different does not mean defective. If you found yourself nodding along to these 7 traits, subscribe to this channel to explore your mind even further. Leave a comment below saying, "I see what others miss," if you recognize yourself in Jung's description. This helps me know there are others out there like you who are ready to stop hiding and start integrating their gifts. In The Alchemist's Path, perception training for empaths, you'll turn overwhelm into wisdom with practical drills, Jung-inspired boundaries, and step-by-step perception training. This guide includes 3 exclusive chapter videos to deepen each lesson. Written by Surreal Mind, 236 pages, beautifully designed 8.5 by 11 downloadable ebook, in stock now. Start your training today. Feel deeply while thinking clearly. Get The Alchemist's Path at thesurrealmind.com.